The following program, The Russ Belville Show, is intended for responsible adults only. We advocate to the repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults. We discuss the science, culture, and controversy about America's marijuana laws. We do not advocate any illegal activity and encourage all listeners to learn their state and federal marijuana laws. Opinions and claims made by guests and advertisers on The Russ Belville Show are their own, and The Russ Belville Show cannot be held legally responsible for their validity or reliability. Viewer discretion is advised.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey!
Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
From the promise of legalization.
And I think that we need to rethink and decriminalize our marijuana laws.
To the agony of prohibition.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
The Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Yeah, I hear you had a question for me.
Now, here's your host, Radical Russ Belville.
All right, good day, tokers and tokettes, and welcome. It is Friday, February 1st, 2013, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. Welcome to the show and welcome to the weekend. We have got all sorts of great stuff for you on today's show, including today being the last day of our benefit auction to help Brave Michaela. Follow her at Brave Michaela or just check out bravemichaela.com and learn more about this brave little girl who's fighting leukemia. She's on the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program and has been featured on the Ricky Lake Show and in numerous national stories. Just visit 420radio.org. Look on the right side of the menu for benefit auction and you'll see all of the items. We got a whole bunch of new items up, some herb age designs, gear, very, very nice stuff. We got a couple of hats that were donated, handmade crocheted hats donated by our listener April. Cousin Kenny donated a Portland Trailblazers hat with a real cool green and gold logo on it that I've never seen before. I thought that was pretty cool. All sorts of new stuff in there. Please check it out at the 420radio.org auction. We've raised $680 already from our listeners and our supporters to help Brave Michaela. And let's push that over 1,000. We got, 6 hours left to go. It concludes at 8:30 p.m. tonight, Pacific time, on the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Make sure you join us tonight. Cousin Kenny will be in the studio as well, rocking out. 2 hours of rock tonight on the Herb Thrasher Show. But first, we've got to get to the behind the headline story. We broke it yesterday in the second hour. Senator Mitch McConnell, the Republican minority leader in the Senate, has come out in favor of support of industrial hemp in the United States, joining his fellow Kentucky Senator Rand Paul and the Kentucky Agriculture Commissioner in calling for industrial hemp. This is a radical change in politics, and we'll talk about that in depth in Behind the Headlines today. Also on today's show, time for a Radical Rant. Yesterday I gave you the case for 2016, which is I'm about 55% in support of. Today I'm going to give you the case for 2014, why reformers should fight for legalization sooner rather than later. And maybe between the two rants, you can make up your mind on how things should go. All that plus our regular 420 radio news is coming up. We're going to give you a roundup on all the states that are proposing legalization bills and medical marijuana bills and what's the latest status of those bills. It's all right here on the Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. Stick around. We'll see you in a minute.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Good day, tokers and tokettes. Radical Russ here to encourage you to help us help Brave Michaela by visiting our benefit auction all this week on 420radio.org. Michaela Comstock is the brave little 7-year-old girl fighting leukemia who gained national attention for her use of medical marijuana to cope with the symptoms of chemotherapy. Go to 420radio.org and click on the benefit auction in the main menu. There, you'll find all sorts of memorabilia from Rolla J Studios, as well as Cumulus and Canasig vapor pens donated by Rapid Fire Marketing. You'll need a free or VIP membership to 420 Radio to participate. Click on Join Us in the main menu to sign up. Finally, if you'd like to meet the little girl who's benefiting from your generosity, enjoy the special free episode number 150 of Toker Talk Radio featuring Michaela and her family. Thanks for showing the cannabis community cares. Cancer ain't cheap, you know.
California is the center of marijuana consciousness. That's why High Times Magazine is returning to the Golden State for our second High Times Medical Cannabis Cup in Los Angeles. That's right. Come to LA Center Studios on February 16th and 17th for this high-flying event. Meet the medical cannabis industry, visit our extra special medicating area, and sample the best cannabis products of Southern California. There'll be cultivation seminars and presentations about getting pot legalized, not just in California, but everywhere. Be there on Saturday evening when we host a Rock'em Sock'em concert with surprise musical guests. And don't forget Sunday night and the High Times Medical Cannabis Cup Awards when we honor the best sativa, best indica, best hybrid, best concentrate, and best edibles of the LA medical cannabis scene. Plus, we present the High Times Lifetime Achievement Award to marijuana superstar Tommy Chong. Come to the City of the Angels on February 16th and 17th for a High Times cannabis celebration. Go to medcancup.com for details. Live the high life. Be proud of who you are. Be part of the growing cannabis community.
Now it's time for your 420 Radio News for today, Friday, February 1st, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. Medical marijuana grower gets 5 years in federal prison from the Billings Gazette. Medical marijuana grower Chris Williams was sentenced Friday to a mandatory 5 years on a federal gun charge and time served on a marijuana charge. In sentencing Williams, U.S. District Court Judge Dana Christensen called him, quote, a principled man, stubborn in his beliefs, who remains steadfast in his conviction that he has done nothing wrong, end quote. Williams was convicted in a September trial of 4 federal drug counts and 4 weapons counts in connection with his involvement in Montana Cannabis, a large medical marijuana grow operation with a greenhouse in Helena and operations around the state. He could have faced mandatory minimum sentences totaling 85 years, 80 of those on the firearms charges alone. Quote, it was my belief that an 85-year sentence in this case would have been unjust, Christensen said Friday in reviewing the history of the case. He urged a settlement conference presided over by U.S. District Judge Donald Malloy, in which the government agreed to drop all but one of the drug charges and one of the gun charges in exchange for Williams's promise not to appeal. House panel dispenses with medical marijuana bill, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, KCRG.com. Any hope for a medical marijuana debate in the Iowa House went up in smoke Thursday. Quote, this bill will not advance any further, declared Representative Clell Bodler, Republican of Greenfield, a retired Iowa State Patrol trooper and one of the 2 GOP members of a House subcommittee that refused to pass House File 22 onto the full House Public Safety Committee for consideration this legislative session. Steve Lucan, the director of the Governor's Office of Drug Control Policy, said successful efforts have been waged to keep young people drug-free, but he warned they would be getting mixed messages if the Iowa legislature allowed the establishment of nonprofit medical marijuana dispensaries for patients to obtain the medication as prescribed in House File 22. South Dakota panel delays action on medical marijuana bill from the Argus leader. A House panel has delayed action on a bill that would provide a medical necessity defense to those charged with possession of marijuana in small amounts. The committee heard debate on the bill but will not vote on the measure until Tuesday. The proposal would allow those arrested on marijuana charges to argue that their use was out of medical necessity. They'd be allowed to call medical experts to testify to that necessity. Bill legalizing marijuana to be introduced in Pennsylvania from the Daily Pennsylvanian. Pennsylvania will soon have the chance to go the route of Colorado and Washington. State Senator Dalen Leach has proposed legislation to legalize recreational use of marijuana in Pennsylvania. The Democratic senator, who represents Montgomery and Delaware counties, cited safety concerns, crime, and potential tax revenues as reasons for bringing the proposal, which comes in the wake of votes to legalize marijuana in Colorado and Washington. While Leach said he had several supporters of the bill, which he plans to introduce within the next 2 weeks, the chance of it becoming law is slim. Republican Governor Tom Corbett has vowed to veto the bill should it come to his desk, saying that marijuana is a, quote, gateway drug, end quote. The Windsor, Colorado Town Board delays marijuana moratorium vote from thecoloradoan.com. The Windsor Town Board voted Monday night to table an ordinance to put a moratorium in place for marijuana clubs. The motion was put forth by board member Robert Bishop Cotner, who moved to table the issue before it was discussed. "We need to wait until all 7 members are present," he said. The next time the board could take action on the issue will be at its February 11th regular board meeting. The moratorium would have temporarily banned private marijuana clubs in which owners provide space and members provide marijuana to smoke. The Maine Medical Marijuana Program gets a new manager from the San Francisco Gate. Maine's medical marijuana program has a new manager, according to the Portland Press Herald, which reports that Marietta DeAgostino has been hired to fill the position left vacant in November when John Teal was dismissed. She began work last week. Maine voters legalized marijuana for medicinal purposes in 1999. In 2009, they approved a law creating a statewide network of marijuana dispensaries. And finally, inside medical marijuana, more Alaskans are using cannabis for treatment. According to January 13, the state's medical marijuana registry is now approaching 1,500 people. And that's your 420 radio news for today, Friday, February 1st, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we go behind the headlines on the story of the week. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, comes out in favor of the legalization of industrial hemp. You're listening to the Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back after these messages.
The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. Please do not give up your precious liberties. There's nothing wrong with standing up for our constitutional rights, and in fact, it's the only way to honor the Constitution that recognizes our natural rights. Treat law enforcement with respect and respect the Constitution by standing up for your rights. If you are detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, "I respectfully invoke all my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak to my attorney, Omar Figueroa." Omar Figueroa has more than a decade of experience in federal and California courts and graduated from Yale University, Stanford Law School, and Trial Lawyers College. Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215. Or on the web at www.omarfigueroa.com.
I'm Sub Cool from Team Green Avenger. At TGAgenetics.com, we are working on the leading edge of medical strains. Our strains are rigorously tested for THC, CBD, THCV, and other critical cannabinoids. Know your grow. Check out our genetic diversity at TGAgenetics.com, the home of Jelly Bean, Jack the Ripper, Vortex, and other award-winning cannabis strains.
All right, time for us to go behind the headlines. And if you joined us yesterday for our 5th anniversary show, Wiz Khalifa was in. And in the second hour, as we went online, he broke the story that Senator Mitch McConnell, the Republican Senate Minority Leader, basically the most powerful Republican in the Senate, has come out in favor of industrial hemp legalization. This is really amazing. And let me give you some of this from Kentucky.com. U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell, Republican of Louisville, has introduced or endorsed efforts in Kentucky to legalize industrial hemp. In a statement released by his Washington office, McConnell said, quote, "After long discussions with Senator Rand Paul and Commissioner James Comer," that's the Commissioner of Agriculture in Kentucky,
On the economic benefits of industrialized hemp, I am convinced that allowing its production will be a positive development for Kentucky's farm families and economy, end quote. Agriculture Commissioner James Comer's office said he welcomed the support from McConnell, who is the Senate Minority Leader. It came 3 days after Kentucky law enforcement officers released a statement opposing it, calling industrial hemp a step toward legal marijuana. In his statement, Senator McConnell addressed those concerns. Quote, Commissioner Comer has assured me that his office is committed toward pursuing industrialized hemp production in a way that does not compromise Kentucky law enforcement's marijuana eradication efforts or in any way promote illegal drug use, end quote. After conversations with Comer and U.S. Senator Rand Paul, Republican from Bowling Green, on the economic potential for industrial hemp, McConnell apparently came down on the side of jobs. Quote, the utilization of hemp to produce everything from clothing to paper is real, and if there is a capacity to center a new domestic industry in Kentucky that will create jobs in these difficult economic times, that sounds like a good thing to me, end quote, he said in his statement. The Senate Minority Leader, the most powerful Republican in the country, aside from Speaker John Boehner in the House from the majority party, just came out in support of industrial hemp to create jobs and that its ability to produce everything from clothing to paper is real. And this just in from the hippy-dippy weatherman, the temperature in hell has just dropped below 0 Celsius. Oh my God. The Republican from Kentucky, the Senate Minority Leader on which almost every issue I disagree with, just said something rational and sensible. I guess even a stopped clock is right twice a day, right? Oh my God, this changes the political calculus so much in the fight for industrial hemp, you cannot believe it. And I personally believe that this is a bit of brinksmanship, a bit of chess playing on the part of Mitch McConnell, who stated it was his singular goal to make sure that Barack Obama didn't get a second term. Nice work. But that was his singular goal, was to oppose the president. And I believe that he sees in industrial hemp a way to pin the president and make the president uncomfortable on a marijuana issue at the very time that he's already uncomfortable with Washington and Colorado having legalized and the ongoing pressure to oppose his raids in the medical marijuana states. I think he's got Obama, he's putting Obama on another front, if you will, by introducing the idea of industrial hemp into the legitimate mainstream Washington political discourse. Amazing. So it's kind of amazing how quick things can change. And folks, I told you that when we legalize marijuana, even in just one state, the headline of that state legalizing marijuana completely changes the game. And this, I believe, is a direct result of that. I believe that you would never have seen Mitch McConnell coming out for hemp if those initiatives had failed. So kudos to all the people who passed those initiatives, and we are seeing the world change. Now, it's not as if Mitch McConnell is good on the marijuana issue. Just in 2012, he sent a letter to one of his constituents that basically said that he had concerns about legalizing marijuana for medicinal purposes, that we already have Marinol. We are troubled about legalization proposals that don't follow the FDA. It's a gateway drug. It's short-term memory loss, loss of motor functions, increased lung disease, and even death. So there's still a long way to go to educate this guy. But at least on the issue of industrial hemp, we can say that the Republican Senate Minority Leader has a better position than the President of the United States. Barack Obama, you cannot let this one go by. You have to get behind the legalization of industrial hemp at this point. And again, speaking to that rapid change, let me give you a quote from 1930. This is a quote from Senator Morris Shepherd, 1930, who helped write the 18th Amendment that instituted prohibition of alcohol. He said, quote, "There's as much chance of repealing the 18th Amendment as there is for a hummingbird to fly to Mars with the Washington Monument tied to its tail," end quote.
And just 3 years later, that hummingbird was on its way to Mars with the Washington Monument because we had passed the 21st Amendment repealing alcohol prohibition when Texas became that 23rd state to do so. Change is coming, and it's going to come quicker than any of us could have possibly imagined. We are so excited to be a part of it. And we got Brian Red here.
ADA, they're called dominoes.
Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would sell you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
You know, I've been playing rock and roll for a lot of years, and I've done it all. Now I do it without drugs. Hey, don't get me wrong, I still party with the best of them, but now I do it clean. You know, I'm on top of everything I do.
Fun. Big Daddy thinks. Oh yeah.
Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Rockin Friday, featuring rock, metal, and the hard edge of alternative country. You can get downloads and more information about all our Daily Toker Tunes by visiting music.radicalruss.com. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tunes.
Oh, yeah, we made it to Friday, and Friday means we get to rock tonight with Herb Thrasher. How you doing, Herb?
Oh, man, I'm doing great, man. What a beautiful day it is in Portland, Oregon, and it's been beautiful watching the Russ Belville Show this week and seeing all the kind hearts and everything going on with the Brave Michaela auction. So it's been great, and we're doing awesome.
Yeah, we got a prize package of great Herb Age Designs drink stuff and other Herb Age stuff. Why don't you tell them what you put up there?
Yeah, we brought some put a coffee mug and some pint glasses, and got a bunch of lighter leashes that we can throw in there, and we have some new koozies, so we added those also, and just trying to help. It's a little bit of a hard time being tax time, and I couldn't go through all my stuff, but I was able to definitely pull out some of that stuff, and there's a wood block there too that is definitely craft and so somebody might enjoy that, a little bit different kind of a product. So you guys look at all the products, not even just from Herb Age Designs, man. All the other stuff and support this. This is a great cause.
Yeah, we're glad to be a part of it, and we're pushing toward 1,000 is what our goal is for the end of the night. We'll be ending the auction tonight at 8:30 on the Flower Hour, and we got a special guest in studio. Cousin Kenny's coming tonight too.
Oh, nice, man. So that means we'll be able to update you guys on a little bit of the NASCAR talk for sports, and always excited to have Cousin Kenny in there, and always a good time. They have a great show tonight. I'm going to air my interview with C Money from Slightly Stupid. We had a great interview a couple weeks ago when they came to Portland and played at the Crystal Ballroom. And we'll play one of our bootleg videos that we played last week, and we have another bootleg video that we'll play in hour 2 tonight, too, that no one has seen again. So look forward to playing some Slightly Stupid. They're great champions of this cause, and just very cool dudes, and I look forward to playing their music. And we'll also introduce you to next week's guest by playing a song from them, and that band is Romero. And so looking forward to learning about these guys. They have a brand new album out, and we'll talk about that tonight, too.
Far out. And C Money from Slightly Stupid, he's got his autograph on 2 of the Cumulus pen vapes that we have up on the Brave Michaela auction. I think they're still out there and available for bids, so check that out as well. Big thanks to Slightly Stupid for helping us out in that respect. And we got a song here for Rockin Friday, and you said Sam Jack Boys. I wasn't sure which one to pick, so I picked that Plowman one that we played last week. Is that a good one?
Dude, it doesn't matter. That's a good one, too. So that's the Ballad of Plowman Bill, and their self-titled album is Let Me Rest. And these guys are from Sweden, and they're basically starting out. This is their first little venture within the last year they've been going. And once they started, it's been speeding ever since. They're doing great. They're doing great on the local charts. They have a 5-song EP, and you can go and pretty much hear at least half of it on their Reverbation page, and that's reverbnations.com/SamJackBoys, and they also have a Facebook page. And I like to call these guys, they've helped me come up with a new little term, and it's the shred grass. And it's definitely bluegrass music, but these guys shred, man. There's a speedier, faster pace to some of their playing, and you guys will just hear it, and you can hear some of their Swedish kind of influence in there too. And so just good stuff. We like to play all kinds of rock, all the way to bluegrass on the show, and try to keep an open mind and try to just explore different forms of music. So you guys join us tonight for Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Definitely check out the Sam Jack Boys, and you guys toke up and be safe.
All right, here they are. Sam Jack Boys, the Ballad of Plowman Bill.
March issue of High Times Magazine is here, just in time for playoff season in the National Football League. But did you know that NFL players who use pot receive the toughest penalties in sport? In our March 2013 issue, High Times investigates the NFL's wrong-headed policies and examines how pot can help athletes off the field. We also tee up an outstanding profile of one of the world's greatest strains with the haze craze. Senior cultivation editor Danny Danko weighs in on the origins of this outstanding sativa. And editorial director Dan Skye takes a high-minded look at the outdoor harvest of 2012. Growers are getting higher prices for the product and strains are better than ever. Plus, we'll take you inside of one of the most unique gardens you'll ever see, a state-of-the-art underground bunker that allows growers to create the perfect environment for pot. Also in this issue, Saturday Night Live's Jason Sudeikis drops by to talk about his new film, Movie 43. And guess what? Jason likes pot. Plus, we cover the most important story of the year. Pot is legal in Colorado and Washington. Pick up the March issue of High Times Magazine for the very best marijuana coverage on the planet. Be part of the growing cannabis community. On newsstands now.
Look, when I was a kid, I inhaled frequently. That was the point.
Remember, Mr. President, you once were just one bust away from being Barry the drug criminal.
Life ain't a box of chocolates gum. That's why people smoke weed and take bumps and drink way too damn much and get drunk and do it all over again. First of the
hemp fiber has many uses, like to make rope and ugly clothes. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for hippies making stuff out of the unsmokable parts. But let's face it, you guys. Hippies tend to make shit for other hippies. I mean, I have yet to need a garment that combines the hip look of tie-dye with all the softness of a fucking onion bag. However, I do think it's fantastic that my drug of choice can be worn. You know, you could wear weed. I think that's cool. You know, you can't say that about the other drugs. Let's face it, ecstasy pants don't really exist. That's just my nickname.
I would maybe own hemp clothing, but I know what I'm like when I come home drunk and I'm out of weed. I would smoke my wardrobe. Just like a little bit at first, you know, and I would try to be sneaky about it. But my friends would notice. They'd be like, Arj, didn't that shirt used to have 2 sleeves? Yeah, and a hood. Soon it would be a tank top. Then a week later it'd be like a tank top, half shirt. Then a fucking man bra, scarf, handkerchief, and finally just an eye patch. I'd be like a pirate. Be like, unhand the veggie booty. Ha 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 ha. John Madden NFL for all me mates. Bring out the Xbox. Chips ahoy.
To prepare for this show, we asked people questions about marijuana. Questions like, do you have any? And if so, when are you going to bust that shit out?
That's Arj Barker, Doug Benson, and Tony Kamen with the Marijuana Logs, Hemp Clothing from the Marijuana Logs. Welcome back. You're listening to the Russ Belville Show here on 420radio.org, and we are continuing our benefit auction for Brave Michaela. Today is the last day, so we're taking this last opportunity to get those of you out there listening to bid and help out this family, cover some of the amazing expenses from cancer. They're just unbelievable what it costs to go on all these medical examinations and tests that have to be done. Of course, the chemotherapy treatments. We've raised about $680 so far, so we are looking to get more people involved in this auction. If you've got a Twitter account or a Facebook account, spread the news. Just pick something that looks cool and forward the link on through your social networks. We're trying to get this spread out as much as we can. The auction ends tonight at 8:30 p.m. on the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. And there's some new stuff out there that we want to make sure people get a look at. If you haven't had a chance to bid on some of these new items to see what's going on, the handmade crocheted hats. April out there in our chat room donated a handmade crocheted hat, and I'll give you a look at some of this stuff for those of you who are watching live or watching on the YouTube screen. You can check that out, and as soon as I get this, so we'll just switch to there. So, I have to kill the background. There we go. So we have this hat, and it's got, you kind of see it's got the silver, lavender, blue. It's just crocheted. Very nice looking hat. I'm sure that will keep you very warm. I think we've got the bids starting on that at $5, and certainly somebody can come up with $5 for that hat for sure. Other items on the benefit auction, like we mentioned, there is the Herb Thrasher gear. Let me get our own Brian the Red to grab me some of that gear, if you would. The Herb Thrasher cozies and stuff. We'll take a look at that here. Let's see, switch camera maybe to your cam. Okay, let's see if I can do that. Camera 4. But Herb Thrasher has donated some of his drinking glasses. Now, this comes in a set. You get 2 cozies, a drinking glass, and a shot glass. So there you can see the Herb Age glass. And you're getting a little closer on that. You'll see the logo. There we go. Herb Age logo. Very nice. What is that, like a 20-ounce glass? And then the Herb Age cozies. Now, one set has the camouflage pattern cozies for your beer or your soda or whatever. The other set has the plain colors like that. There you go with the Herb Age Designs cozy. The shot glasses, I think, are the tall, double shot type glasses with, again, the Herb Age logos on the front of them. I believe we've got a pack of these. We've got 2 different packs that are up for auction, and they start at just $15, I think, for the whole pack. So get your bids in early on this one. You'll definitely... these won't last very long, that's for sure. Oh, one's up to 20 already, so thank you for that bid. Here's the Herb Age coffee mug that we have here. Let's see if I can get a Brian mic open there. There we go. And a nice little coffee mug, nice deep coffee mug with the Herb Age design logo on it. Plus, it'll come with 2 lighter leashes, although I stole one of them. So we'll get the other lighter leash, but I lost my lighter leash. That's just not right. So you get that. I'm donating a couple of the hats that I've got. This is one you've seen me wear on the show quite a bit. The tan pot leaf cap. This one was given to me as a gift. I will autograph the bill of that, and I will, whatever you want me to write on that, I will write it for you. Maybe inside, outside, I'm not sure. Whatever you want, you just let me know. That's up for bid up there on the auction as well.
This is like show-worn merchandise.
That's right, show-worn merchandise. Yeah. That one even has a Velcro clasp, the Velcro on the back, so it'll fit even my enormous head. So that's a great hat, folks. And then we got the black handmade apparel version. I'm going to have to delintify. It's kind of linty. But it's got the Radical Rust blockhead logo on it, and it doesn't have, it's like an it's elastic on the back of it, but it fits my big noggin, so it shall probably fit your head as well. We still have the Cumulus vapor pens, the slightly stupid ones. One has bid up to $54.25. The other one is up to $51 on the bids. Thank you to those people who are helping us out, bidding on those items. This block, this is from Mrs. Herb Age. Green Kim, sometimes in our chat room. She makes these lovely little tiles out of wood. She repurposes everything. So she'll find like scrap wood, and she'll find all, cabinetries and pictures. And this is a painted wooden tile with like a 1920s, 1930s style old timey woman photo. Very attractive woman, but 1920s.
Looks like it's got some old wallpaper here.
That's what I think it is.
So
yeah,
like maybe this was on a wall somewhere, and they cut this out, and that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's a hanging tile.
Yeah,
there's a little piece of art, and she's attending a big marijuana bush there, and it says, what is it? She was always happiest. What did that say?
In her garden.
In her garden, yeah. She was always happiest in her garden. So that's a lovely little thing there that you can bid on. We've got other items up there as well. The Reefer City board game is now up to $22.50 on the bids on Reefer City, the game for intelligent heads. So you can check that out. We'll let Brian show you that box there. It's kind of a board game about selling weed, basically, as I understand it.
Oh, but it's recent enough to have been on the internet. There's a website listed.
That's right.
ReeferCity.com.
ReeferCity.com if you want to know more about that. We got some Pink Leaf Project t-shirts out there. One is up to $30 on the bid.
So we're looking at that. Another one is still at $20 opening bid. So, and that's the XL. The large is up to 30, but the XL is still sitting out there for 20. So that's always a nice deal when you're talking about t-shirts. I know those usually get more expensive. Yeah, we're gonna have to get some more printed out. Brian's got that pink leaf project that he's working on, bringing awareness to marijuana and its cancer potentials. So, that's
many medical potentials.
Many medical potentials. Yeah. But you know how the cancer folks all have that pink ribbon thing.
Yeah, so. I say hey, CBD and THC have been proven to cure cancer. Might as well have I've seen enough of those damn ribbons. They're all sorts of colors. Might as well have a leaf real color of the cure.
There you go. So we got those to bid on as well. The band CI have donated some CDs. There's still 3 of them out there for bids. $5 for their reggae CD. I think it's got like 12 tracks on it or so. We've got a couple of t-shirts, hemp t-shirts in a small and a medium that are available. They're just plain 55% hemp t-shirts that are available on the auction as well. A couple Russ Belville Show calendars still available. 2 miscellaneous t-shirts. I combined the orange log t-shirt and the flaming baseball t-shirt into one auction item at $5. It's a small and it's a medium. They're just a couple of test shirts that have never been worn. And if you want them, they're available. We got some ganja skateboard decks available. Great White, Jamaican Pearl, and Granddaddy Perp. These are not just, for skateboard. I mean, these are like nice little pieces of art.
Yeah, I mean, really. I've got one hanging on my wall.
Yeah, pretty much. I would almost be afraid to ride it just because I'd ruin the art eventually.
Oh no, yeah, they're good and sturdy, but that's what a deck. If you're riding a deck, you expect to get worn out. But
yeah,
they've got really nice concave on them, so if you do tricks, they're great.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So we'll follow this one. We'll go back to the wood pipes. The folks from Wood Pipes, so helpful, have donated a prize pack, and I'm putting it all in one pack for them. Just because I think it'll be easier for them to ship if it's all in one. But all the stuff in this prize pack, first of all, the background, if you've ever seen this cannabis history flag, have you ever seen that, in smoke shops and stuff, the 10,000 years of cures, and it's got all the facts and all the stuff written on it, that comes with it.
Oh, sweet.
It's not just a backdrop for the photo. You get that
wow,
flag.
There's a nice package here.
Yeah, check all this stuff. You get Hemp's, HEMPZ, Hemp's lotion, that, hemp seed oil type of lotion.
Yeah, that stuff's always good.
A bullet grinder. Now, I don't know exactly what that is, but it sounds cool. Yeah. 2 packs of papers there.
Rolling.
A couple little glass novelty gift items.
We call those medical delivery devices.
That's what they're in Oregon. They would be.
Yeah, in Oregon they would be medical delivery devices. In other places they would be tobacco pipes
or novelty gift items.
Novelty gift items.
We have one of these wood vapor pipes that you can put your herb in there and it can actually vaporize it.
Oh yeah, no, that's like a vape stone pipe.
There you go.
Yeah, my buddy had one.
Vapor Genie, that's it.
Vapor Genie.
In fact, they got the guide sitting there right there, Vapor Genie. And a couple of hemp necklaces. This whole package with the flag, $35 opening bid.
You get everything you see here, Bob.
Yeah, that's right. So check that out. We want to definitely, and again, all of this is about raising money for Brave Michaela, that cute little girl right there who and you don't understand too, folks, about Brave Family is it's not just Brave Michaela, right? There's the whole family that has bills to pay, right?
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough when everybody's sick. So you want to help as best you can. And I'm really just honored and pleased to be a small part of this, that we can help in any way we can. So thank you so much for signing up. And if you're new to 420 Radio, all you got to do is just sign up on our website for an account. It's free. You can just create a free account. Look up it right next to Benefit Auction. You'll see a thing that says Join Us and free membership. And you can just join up with a free membership, get into the auction, log in, make your bid. And if you're not getting paid till like the 5th, we totally understand, right? So we're going to hold on to the bids while the bidding ends today at 8:30 p.m. We'll hold on to the bids for a week. We'll hold on to them through the 8th. So you got till the 8th to be able to make payment on that thing. And it's all through our shopping cart system on 420radio.org. It takes PayPal. It takes your credit cards, your debit cards. So and we also now have U.S. Postal Service shipping. So it's a lot cheaper because you have to pay for the shipping as well. This is a charity thing, right? So, and it's not much. I think it was like $2-3 on some of these things. We're using those priority mail, if it fits, it ships kind of thing. So check that out, folks. Please visit the auction and do everything you can to try to help this little girl. I know times are tough. I know money is tight. And because I'm begging for it all the time. You hear me begging for it all the time here. We're public radio. We have to. That's in the contract. But this week, it's all about this little girl. And coming up on Monday's show, by the way, for our Roots Monday Toker tune, we will have the debut clip.
So beautiful.
Of the Apples and Bananas song. So make sure you stay tuned for that. All right, we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, we'll have a little time for the Radical Rant. Yesterday, I gave you the case for 2016, which I'm 55% in favor of. Today, I'm going to give you the case for 2014, why legalization advocates in Oregon should fight for 2014 instead of 2016 and waiting that long. Always learn both sides of an argument, folks. Be right back.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Cast your eyes up to the skies. What is it to live and die?
You want answers?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant. All right, as I had mentioned on yesterday's show, there's a very strong case to be made for activists in Oregon and other states to wait for 2016 to try another push at a marijuana legalization initiative. A lot of these are outlined by Marijuana Policy Project, and they include things like a much better electorate in a presidential election year, more likely to pass a marijuana initiative, more time for an educational campaign to inform the voters so that we can draft and pass a better marijuana legalization initiative, and the more likelihood that there's going to be multiple states fighting during the same presidential election year, and that all the big money can be marshaled for one big push for marijuana legalization in this country. All very, very valid reasons. And again, like I mentioned on yesterday's show, it's the side I'm leaning toward. I'm definitely, you know me, I always want to legalize marijuana. I want to promote the best plans for legalizing marijuana. And right now I am leaning toward a 2016. But as I mentioned, when the MPP representatives, Steve Fox and Roy Kaufman, were at their town hall meeting to discuss this proposal, I also have a part of me, 45%, I would say, that feels like we should strike while the iron is hot. Some of the concerns about moving forward with 2016, I don't feel invalidate a 2014 push. For example, there is the concern about the electorate. The past initiatives that have ever been tried show that you get a much lower rate of return on an off-year election than you do in a presidential election. The Arizona initiative for medical marijuana in 2010 barely passed with 50.13% of the vote. The other initiatives that have been tried in these off-year elections, the legalization ones, MPPs in 2006, Nevada, for example, also failed during those times. So there is a very compelling case to say that the electorate will be more ready for marijuana legalization in a presidential election year. You're going to have more younger voters, more liberal voters, and just greater overall voter turnout that always helps our cause. However, I think it's not necessarily informative of what current marijuana electoral politics are to look at the legalization campaigns of the past. As I've mentioned many times, that headline of a state legalizing marijuana changes the whole dynamic. We're to the point now where the Oregonian editorial board is calling for legalization, and Senator Mitch McConnell is endorsing industrial hemp. The whole world has changed. And while it may be a better electorate in 2016 that passes something with 58, 59% of the vote, perhaps in 2014 it can be passed with 52, 53% of the vote. That is to say, while I agree that 2016 is a much better electoral scene, I do not believe that 2014 is necessarily unwinnable. And I don't think it's going to be necessarily that close. Now, we've got a caller calling in, so I'm going to put this rant on hold because I was looking for a spokesperson that might be able to tell us and talk to us a little bit with some expertise on the industrial hemp issue. That's something that, again, I'm not as always expert on. Tom Murphy, I believe, is calling us from Vote Hemp. Is that you, Tom?
That's me, yes. Oh, how are things?
Well, pretty good. I was telling everybody about Senator Mitch McConnell coming out in support of Rand Paul's efforts to legalize industrial hemp in Kentucky, and we just wanted to know what Vote Hemp had to say about this.
Well, it all started with an email that I received that said, had a subject line of, "Are you sitting down?" And I'm like, yes, in a good way or a bad way? And so I opened up the email and I'm like, no. And I called our lobbyist on Capitol Hill, and he thought I was kidding him. And he says, no, that's, and I said, well, what about the front page story on the Washington Post I told you about earlier this month? And he's like, well, then, yeah, there is that. And I said, take a look. So we did a quick search and found there it was right there on the Louisville Courier-Journal. And he's like, wow, that's big. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, our jaws dropped yesterday when we saw that headline. It basically puts the top-ranking Senate Republican better on this issue, puts him in a better place on this issue than the president.
And the president can come out and make this bipartisan.
Exactly. This just opens up the hemp issue to both sides of the aisle, and makes it impossible, I would think, to oppose. Do you see the efforts any efforts in the House to follow up with what's going on in the Senate here to get hemp legalized?
We are expecting a bill to drop in the House as early as next week. The reintroduction of the Industrial Hemp Farming Act that Ron Paul and Barney Frank have introduced every Congress since 2005. And we're expecting a Senate companion bill as well.
Excellent. Now, has anyone from your offices with Vote Hemp been in touch with McConnell's office?
I have not in person. We have had people in touch with people in Mitch McConnell's office, and it's quite exciting. And the state Agriculture Senate committee hearing in February 11th will be quite interesting. We're expecting to have Congressman Massey, Congressman Yarmouth, and Senator Paul all in attendance and testifying, along with Commissioner Comer. And it should be quite a media circus now that Senator McConnell has come out in favor of hemp farming in Kentucky.
Yes. We're speaking with Tom Murphy from votehemp.org. I encourage everyone to check out Vote Hemp on the web for all the information on this subject. It's, of vital importance. And, Tom, here, of course, on our show, we're covering a lot of the marijuana side, the legalization side. So, week after week, we see these polls in support of marijuana legalization, in support of medical marijuana. What's the support among the general public? Have you seen polling on their support or even their awareness of industrial hemp?
The last poll that we did was in North Dakota a few years ago, and it was upwards of 70% in favor of having industrial hemp farming and processing brought back to the United States. I haven't seen any good recent polls on the subject, and people I talk to personally, very few people tend to mix industrial hemp and marijuana. Either people have no preconceived notions at all, or they know the difference.
Well, that's good. And more of this education gets out. And now with these top Republicans standing up for it, I think it's just a matter of time. Do you think this year we will see a passage of and an end of hemp prohibition?
It's a distinct possibility. I've had a stock answer for the past 10 years, and every year for the past 10, I've said that hemp legalization will happen in 5 years. And with the passage of I-502 and Amendment 64, and then President Obama getting reelected, I changed that to 4 years. But now I don't have a stock answer now that Senator McConnell has come out in favor of hemp farming. that's just a real game changer. And as the reporter who did the front page story on the Washington Post tweeted, she says the discussion's over.
Yes, the discussion's over. It's just all a matter of just getting the legislation signed. Boy, we hope we see this sooner rather than later. And we have you guys at Vote Hemp to thank a lot for, educating these senators and getting the ball rolling on this very important issue. Hemp for victory, man. Thanks for everything you do.
Happy to be a part of it.
All right. And thanks for calling in on short notice. We appreciate it.
Not a problem. If you ever need me again, just give a yell.
Will do. Thank you. Tom Murphy from votehemp.org. Everyone, please check that out. And again, thanks again for calling in on the short notice. We were all pretty stunned by the news. Let me return to the Radical Rant for a moment. I was pointing out how Oregon, Washington, and Alaska followed up in an off-year election in 1998, passing their medical marijuana right on the heels of California's Prop 215. I got to thinking about what would it have been like if Oregon, Washington, and Alaska had waited until the year 2000 and let 4 years of California-style medical marijuana take root, and all of the bad stories of dispensaries and the things that people were just beginning to hear in 98, if those had been allowed to fester for another 2 years, would Oregon, Washington, and Alaska even been able to have passed their medical marijuana laws? It's an interesting what-if to think about. Because one of the responses that I got from Steve Fox when I asked him my question at the town hall meeting was that with Colorado and Washington, people are going to be watching the fallout from those two states. And there's no way of predicting whether or not something bad could happen. And that would muddy the waters as far as passing something in 2014. But my problem with that defense is that if something bad happens in 2014, what's going to make it any better in 2015 or 2016? By the time the next vote gets around? Do we end up with a situation where the worst problems with legalization in Washington and Colorado are allowed to fester for 4 years, and giving our opponents, people like Kevin Sabet and David Frum and Patrick Kennedy, 4 more years of being able to peddle their illogic that who knows if it takes root? The argument that something bad might happen by the current legalization means that we should wait for 2016 doesn't really hold water to me. It sounds like it would just get worse over time. And another part of this is that I don't necessarily think that fighting for 2014 and fighting for 2016 are mutually exclusive. Why couldn't a group of local activists, well backed with lots of money and focus and a well-drafted initiative, go ahead and try their signature drive in 2013 and get it on the ballot in 2014 and try to pass it? Through having a signature drive, and again, the caveat on this is that everybody in Oregon trying to do it has their shit together and is well backed and writes something that is very well drafted. But if that is the case, if that is so, why wouldn't that be an educational campaign? And even if that initiative weren't to actually pass, but at least do better than the one did, the most recent one, Measure 80, if it did 49%, wouldn't that be momentum that also contributes to a victory in 2016? Wouldn't that signature drive and the ad campaigns that come from it also be an educational campaign that helps toward 2016? And why couldn't the people involved in a 2016 push with their safer campaigns and educational campaigns to push for 2016 not also be helping the 2014 drive and vice versa? I don't know that they're necessarily mutually exclusive. And of course, the number one driving point of all of this is to remember why we're in this fight in the first place, is to keep people from going to prison, from being arrested, from having their lives wrecked by a marijuana arrest. And even though we are a decriminalized state here in the state of Oregon, we still have 193 marijuana possession arrests per month on average in this state. That's 193 felonies, 193 lives every month that are turned over by marijuana prohibition and law enforcement. So it's an interesting thing to think about, 2014 or 2016. And again, to be honest, I am currently leaning toward 2016. If only because the experience I've had here in Oregon has shown me that without outside national help, Oregon can't make it happen. I would love to be proved wrong on that. That's all the time we got for today. Thanks for joining us this week here on the Russ Belville Show and on 420radio.org. We're here every weekday 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock Pacific time, and from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock Pacific, or 10 Pacific tonight with the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Coming up next, a replay of yesterday's brand new Season 2 premiere episode of Big Daddy Fink's Funky Roller Rink. For Brian the Red, I'm Radical Russ. For everyone here at Rolla J Studios, thanks for joining us. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
I'm sorry, not next. Toker Talk Radio is next. After Toker Talk Radio is Big Daddy Fink's Funky Roller Rink. I smoke too much weed sometimes.